Welcome to our fall Ohigan service. Thank you so much for joining us. This is our observance of the autumnal equinox, when day and night are equal. And now in ancient times in Japan, this was considered a wonderful time to engage in Buddhist study and practice. And it allows us this opportunity to listen to the teachings and rededicate ourselves to the Pure Land path. So let's begin our service with Sutra chanting. We will chant Juseige, and the text will appear on the screen. But a little different today for the Nembutsu section. Instead of chanting Namandabu like we normally do, we're going to chant Namo Amida Butsu. And it'll be up on the screen, so it'll make sense. Okay, let's begin the chanting. Juseige. The wrong one went. Okay, hold on. Namandam, 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 namandam. On this occasion of the Buddhist Church of Oakland's annual observance of Fall Ohigan, the autumnal equinox, when the hours of day and night are equal, we gather to contemplate the balance in nature as we find the Nembutsu and the Middle Way in our lives. Segan Hishimu Jodo Shigan Fumanzok Seifu Joshogak Gao Munyoko Fuidai Seshu Fusai Shobingu Seifu Joshogak Gashi Jobutsudo Myosho Chojippo Kukyo Mishomon Seifu Joshogak Ryokujin Shonen Joe Shubongyo Shigumu Jodo Isho Tenin Shi Jinniki Endai Ko Fushomu Saido Shoujo Sankumyo Kosai Shuyakunam Kaihichi Egen Meshi Konmoan Heisoku Shoakudo Tsudatsu Zen Shumon Kosojo Manzok Iyoro Jippo Nichigatsu Shujuki Tenko Onpugen Ishu Kai Hozo Kose Kudokuho Jo Dai Shuchu Seppo Shishiku Kuyo Isai Butsu Gusoku Shutoku Hon Ganne Shitsu Joman Tokui Sangayo Nyobutsu Mugechi Tsudatsumi Fusho Gangaku Erik Toshi Saisho Som Shiganya Koka Daisen Okando Kokusho Tenin To Chin Myo Ken Namo Amida Butsu 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 Ganni Shikudoku Byodo Sei Sai Dohoten Bodai Shin Ojo Namandab, 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 namandab. Okay, next we will have our Gatha. We're going to sing a special Gatha, Higan 1, by the lyrics are by Reverend Seigen Yamaoka. And following the Gatha, we're going to do the three treasures. And so the three treasures words will appear on the screen. Okay. And the Gatha is only going to be the second verse, the autumn verse. Okay. The purest time in nature's realm, in the early spring and fall. These are the days when hearts of life become one with self and all. The autumn sky, its golden haze, in its radiant splendor, tells our searching heart the flow of nature's ways. The three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma, now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord, in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, 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 namanda. Thank you, everyone. Thank you once again for joining us for our special service. This is, again, Ohigan. And one aspect of it is how it's the equinox, right? And so at Ohigan time, you might have noticed, right, that the days have been getting shorter, right? Nighttime comes on us a little sooner. It gets dark earlier, right? And so this idea of the equinox was important, I think, to Japanese Buddhists, certainly since ancient times. And in Japan, they do this Ohigan kind of service. But I just wanted to share first. This is the more scientific meaning, right? Now, this assumes a round Earth, right? But we see that at the time of, because of the tilt of the Earth, that's what makes, as the Earth goes around the sun, that's what changes the length of day and night. And so you see over on the left is summer solstice. That was the longest day. And that was a few months ago. And here we are now, vernal equinox or autumnal equinox. Oh, sorry, vernal is spring. Huh? I'm going the wrong direction. The summer solstice. And then down here, autumnal equinox. That's autumn, fall, right? And then we're going to keep going, keep going. It's going to turn to winter solstice, the longest night, the shortest day. And that's around Christmas time, right? And then vernal equinox. I knew vernal meant spring. That's when we have in the springtime, the spring Ohigan. So that's the kind of technical reason for having this equinox, right? And for these ancient Buddhists, I think that they understood this idea of here we are in samsara, and there's another shore, the other shore across, right? Across some vast ocean. And that other shore is enlightenment or nirvana, right? Whereas we're here on this shore of samsara. And there's this idea that at this equinox time, partly this when day and night are equal, this time of balance, it's also a time when the other shore is closest. So this idea of the other shore, looking towards the other shore, is why we decided to use pictures of the setting sun. So if you're following us on Facebook or Instagram, you might have seen this. This was our image for our Fall Ohigan service. And that's one of the images we had. You also saw that picture at the beginning of our Kansho. And then also here's another one that we saw during the Gatha. We're so lucky if we live here in the East Bay, right? That we can, I don't know if you can see in there, but you can see San Francisco, the Bay Bridge, Golden Gate Bridge, right? Past the Golden Gate Bridge towards the setting sun, right? The other shore over there. Now, there was another picture you might have seen during the Kansho video. This is called the Two Rivers and the White Path. And so here's Shakyamuni over here on our side. And there's Amida Buddha over on the other shore side. This is the Pure Land too. So here's Amida, and then there's a white path. There's a skinny white path and these rivers of fire and water that are overlapping the path. And yet here's our practitioner. That might be me or you, right? Walking on this white path, aiming towards nirvana, aiming towards the Pure Land. Now this picture comes from ancient China, 7th century China. And the Chinese master Shan Dao, who lived during the 600s. And so we want to understand, right? The other shore is nirvana, but we can also think of the Pure Land like that too. And so we know this because Shinran quotes Shan Dao. Shan Dao is saying, the Pure Land is the realm of nirvana, the uncreated. So in some ways, we can picture the Pure Land as kind of paradise, right? And as having like the descriptions of these, the Buddha is there preaching, and there's all these people listening to the Dharma and dancing, and little babies being born on lotus flowers, and floating palaces and music, and the food spontaneously appears, all these kind of ideas of what this paradise would be like, right? But ultimately, the Pure Land is also known as nirvana, right? And that's really, that's how I think of Shinran, is understanding. So we saw that person walking across that white path. So that's one question. How do I get to the other shore? How do I get enlightened? How do I get awakening? How do I reach nirvana? And different schools have different understandings. They talk about Shakyamuni had 84,000 teachings. And so he taught a lot of different ways to get enlightenment. right? Maybe Zen or Nichiren or Tendai or Theravada Buddhism or Tibetan Buddhism. There's all these different ways that Shakyamuni taught, and ways that have developed in the 2,500 years since Shakyamuni passed away. But I think the best, whatever way it is, it's a way. It's a path. Right? It's a path from here to there. So normally, if I don't have a path like that, I'm just wandering around aimlessly, following after this, following after that, not sure what's important, just doing whatever I want. But when we discover Buddhism, when we discover the Dharma, then I realized, wow, there's a path. There's a way I could follow. That's great. Teach me more. And so one of the paths is what we normally talk about at Ohigan time, the 6 Paramitas, right? The 6 perfections. Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday, right? The generosity, discipline, effort, patience, meditation, and wisdom, right? Those 6 paramitas. That's the bodhisattva path. That's what people do when they want to become Buddhas, when they want to become awakened, they become bodhisattvas. That's one thing you can do. I follow the Pure Land path, right? The path of Nembutsu and Shinjin, taught by Shinran. So we can also, if we can't do perfect selfless giving and meditation and all those things, it's okay. There's other paths. And the Pure Land path is the one that I teach, right? This really special path because it's open to anybody. It's open to everybody, right? And that's saying Namo Amida Butsu, like we said during the chanting today. But there's another path that I think we might be aware of, right? And that's the Noble Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path. And so that Eightfold Path is symbolized by can you see my, what I'm wearing here, my robe thing, the blue, right? Is the Eightfold Path is symbolized by the Dharma wheel. See the Dharma wheels there? And you see they have 8 spokes. So the Eightfold Path, when we see the Dharma wheel, that's one thing we might think of, the Eightfold Path. Now I'm going to talk a little more about that next week for Dharma School. There's a way to memorize the Eightfold Path. But for now, one thing I want us to know is that Shakyamuni talks about the Eightfold Path as the middle way. The middle way. So that's another path, the middle path, the middle way, the path between extremes. So one way that manifests is as the Eightfold Path. Other ways it manifests is emptiness. I think we can find the middle way in all kinds of areas of our life, right? And you can realize, oh my gosh, see, middle way, middle implies I'm in the middle. I'm not too far over here. I'm not too far over here, right? Sometimes I go too far. Whoa, you can't hear me because my mic's over here, right? But over here, the extreme of this versus the extreme of that. So one thing I was kind of thinking of in that sense is indulgence, right? That, right, to indulge in something. Sweet indulgences, isn't there like a ice cream called that, right? So we don't want to indulge too much. You don't want to overindulge. If you eat too much ice cream, it's not going to be good for you. I think your stomach will tell you, stop with the ice cream, right? If you ate too much ice cream all the time, right? So too much ice cream, that's kind of an extreme. But you don't have to completely cut ice cream out. You can have ice cream sometimes as dessert, right? And maybe, I don't know, I'm not going to put like once a week or once a month or something like that, right? But we can indulge sometimes, just don't overindulge. So one extreme, ice cream all the time. Another extreme, no ice cream. Now you might have to say no ice cream if you're lactose intolerant, but you could maybe take lactate or something like that, right? Or lactose-free ice cream. So, but anyway, right? Ice cream all the time is an extreme. No ice cream, that's an extreme too, right? So we can find a kind of middle way, right? Where we're not overindulging all the time, but every now and again, indulge in some ice cream. Right? So that idea of the middle way, I think we can see that at Ohigan time, right? This is the time of balance in nature. So I was thinking about Yamaoka Sensei's song, right? The song that we had for our Gatha today, the Higan 1 song, right? And the lyrics for that song, I got to pull them up for myself, especially the second verse. Let's see if I can find it here. The autumn sky, its golden haze in its radiant splendor, tells our searching heart the flow of nature's ways. Right? That we can look at nature, we can look at this balance in nature at this time and maybe be inspired by it. Right, the weather's milder, so we can, I think in Japan especially, but even around here sometimes, right, the summers have been getting harsher. And so at times like this, when the weather is kind of mild and it's not too hot, not too cold, right, that we can put some more energy into studying Buddhism. And we can also be inspired by the balance that we find in nature. So here, let's see, here's this picture again, right? But I wanted to share this picture. Here's the Buddha Loves You bunch. They like to sing Buddha Loves You, the song Buddha Loves You, but they also pitched in for the Higan 1 song. They're here at the Hondo looking out the window. You can see the roof dragon I talked about last week, right? And, you know, I thought today was going to be cloudy, so a lot of the videos are cloudy. Instead of the golden haze here, we see the gray haze. But they're looking out to the west. They're looking longingly to the west. So the Buddha Loves You bunch too, they're looking out to the west. They want to attain enlightenment. They want to understand more, right? They want to have better understanding into the world and into life. And so they're inspired by Ohigan, partly because of this balance, right? This middle way that nature is showing us, but also nature shows us, right? It's up and down, like that first picture I showed with the Earth going around the sun, right? We get this the time, right? Day gets longer, and then it gets shorter, and then it gets longer again, and then it gets shorter. So the Buddha Loves You bunch is also inspired by that, right? That we can see nature modeling this for us. That life has ups and downs, right? It doesn't always go the way we want. This is part of impermanence, but also, right, don't get stuck in the low or don't get too caught up in the highs, right, to realize, okay, this is what happens. Some lows are lower than others. Some highs are longer, last longer and better than others, right? But when we realize, okay, yeah, I got to kind of roll with it. Right? And nature is showing us that here at this time of Ohigan, but all year round too, huh? So for Ohigan, right, for this special time of the year, it's actually on Wednesday coming up or around there, right? So today's not the actual day, but we can feel it, huh? I think you can feel that you can see it, right? You realize, wow, it's dark. It's only 7 o'clock. In a few more weeks, when we get daylight savings time, that's when we're really going to know, right? But for now, right, we can understand this time of balance. We can enjoy it. We can enjoy the season, but we can also take this special time to think about Buddhism, right? To learn about Buddhism, looking for the middle way in life, realizing impermanence in life, right? And here I'm talking about impermanence as change, right? That things are always changing. When we don't know this, when we're just wandering, when things change, sometimes we don't like it. But once we get on this path, this Buddhist path, right, whether it's Eightfold Path or Bodhisattva Path or Nembutsu Path, then we realize more and more, oh, change is part of life. You don't have to like it all the time, but knowing that that's the way things are can help sometimes when we encounter difficulty. Huh? So thank you so much for attending our Ohigan service and for listening to this Dharma talk. I hope you like the Gatha and the images. And this is again, this special opportunity to think about Buddhism, to learn about Buddhism, to even dedicate ourselves to this Buddhist path. So as you go out into the week, keep thinking about this stuff. Don't just, oh, yeah, and then forget it. Although I know it happens a lot, maybe, but if we can, learn from Buddhism, bring it into our daily life, so that as you're living life, maybe you encounter difficulties, or or you see things and you're like, oh, doesn't Buddhism say something about that? Right? That's the way to really learn it, to really increase our understanding. So let's conclude our Ohigan Dharma Talk with Kansho as we recite Buddha's name. At this time of Ohigan, as day and night are equal, let us be inspired by what we find in nature, teaching us about impermanence and the middle way. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. Okay, and I would like to now hand it over to Hondo for announcements.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Sensei, for your Dharma talk. See, I will share my screen here. Make sure I share the right screen. This hopefully is it. There we go. Hopefully you can all see this. So yes, the following events, they can be found on the BCA website. So on September 25th at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. is Shinjin Part 2. It's with Reverend Dr. David Matsumoto. He gave 2 lectures on the subject of closely looking at Shinran Shonen's writings, considering the nature, arising, and implications of Shinjin. Part 1 has already passed. Part 2 is on September 25th. Past events, they can be accessed on CBE's YouTube channel. That's the Center of Buddhist Education. The link is here on this PDF. I'll post it in the chat box after, though. I highly recommend checking out their YouTube channel just for past events if you missed them. Most of them are there. So. And then also going on is the BCA virtual art exhibit. It started on the 19th and it's carrying on to the 26th. Yes, also visit the BCA website. I'm not sure, it's probably too late to submit your work. I should have updated this, but nevertheless, check it out and possibly you could submit something if you still wanted to. But yeah, all that information is on the BCA website. We also have several things going on with BCO. You can access our website for more details, but for one, Reverend Bridge has been posting a new Buddhism video series on his YouTube account. I will post a link to his YouTube account, so subscribe to his channel to receive notifications of all new content, and don't miss out. Also, the next Dharma School, which is on September 26th, will relate to the author visit with Joanna Ho. For any Dharma School student who's planning on attending the event, please try to attend the Dharma School session on the 26th at 9:30 on Zoom to get the most out of the event. And with that, I should tell you all about the event. The event is taking place on October 10th at 10 a.m. with the author Joanna Ho. I will share the flyer because it's much better than just looking at that PDF. It's a nice flyer too. So yeah, so she's the author of Playing at the Border, Story of Yo-Yo Ma, as well as Eyes That Kiss in the Corners. There's a link to RSVP for the event. It's on the 1st, or I'm sorry, the event is on October 10th, but you must RSVP by the 1st. I will post the link to RSVP in the chat box as well after this. So yes, please check that out. Sounds like it'll be fantastic. And other events on September 27th, we have our BCO annual golf fun day outing. Donation is $175 per person. It includes golf and cart, box lunch raffle, and after golf appetizers on the deck overlooking the 18th green. That sounds fun. So if you're into playing golf or just into having a good time, maybe look into that as well. And again, that information is on the BCO website. And I'm sharing this now. That's it for me. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe and look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you, Hondo. And thank you, everyone, for joining us for our special fall Ohigan service. Why don't we conclude our service with Kansho once again as we recite Amida Buddha's name. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda.